after it hurt me.
It just hurts.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Queer Peer Reviews, where we review queer media, good, bad, and ugly. I'm your host, Jamie, and today with me is my co-host, Bruce.
Here at Queer Peer Reviews, we're reviewing your favorite and not so favorite forms of queer media, including movies, TV shows, comic books, and etc.
Today we're going to be reviewing Deck 9's 2017 episodic video game, Life is Strange Before the Storm, which is a prequel to Don't Nod's original Life is Strange game. And this time around, instead of playing as Max Caulfield, you'll get to play as her childhood best friend, which we met in the first game, Chloe Price. And this game takes place 3 years before the events of the original Life is Strange game, hence Before the Storm.
The episode starts off with Chloe trying to sneak into an old mill where currently a rave party is happening, and she wants to join in on the fun. She gets stopped by this bouncer who wouldn't let her in. And one of the interesting aspects of this game is that there's no powers involved, you just have the power of talking shit.
Yeah, just like the Chloe we came to love in the first game.
So if you successfully talk shit, you will manage to gain access into the rave party.
Yeah, exactly. And like Bruce said, there are no powers in this game, so there are no rewinds. If you choose something, you're stuck with that option. But yeah, so Chloe is able to successfully argue with this bouncer and like kind of humiliate him, which leads him to like, hey, I respect you, go on in.
Welcome to the Salty Spittoon. How tough are you?
How tough are you? I'm Chloe motherfucking
I got shot
Price.
3 times.
On repeat.
On repeat.
After Chloe enters the mill, she learns that it's owned by this guy named Damon Merrick. She doesn't know too much about him. All she knows is that he is a friend of Frank Bowers, which you may remember from the first game. So during this whole party or concert, whatever, she winds up pissing off these 2 dudes by spilling beer on them. And later on during the concert, they kind of go after her.
And yeah, while she was like up on the sort of like the little top level, just vibing into the music, the two dangerous men show up and, you know, sort of threaten her. But Chloe, being Chloe, she tries to act all tough and all. Until then, her savior arrives, which revealed to be Rachel Amber.
Rachel Amber, the mysterious girl you might remember who was missing during the first game.
It is such a weird feeling. I'm like, I know what's going to happen to her, but it's like, you know, it's such a surreal feeling, like seeing her now as this character that we're going to see flesh out through this show. And, but yeah, so Rachel comes in and for the rescue, she throws a beer bottle at one of the guys' heads.
Chloe winds up getting punched in the face, depending on what you choose.
Oh, yeah. While they were running out, Frank stops the 2 guys and be like, yo, guys, chill out. And Rachel Amber and Chloe just managed to escape.
Yeah, and they spend the rest of the night dancing together and just vibing to the band's music. The next morning, Chloe wakes up in her room, and the first thing she thinks about is, was that really Rachel Amber that I hung out with last night?
So with Chloe back at her house, it's a very similar situation like in the first game where she has this very, tough relationship with her mom. Especially because this is a prequel, she is now starting to date David, who we all know is a security guard from the first one, and we all know that he is a major hard ass.
David, you can still kind of tell he is a hard ass, but he has a little bit more of a caring side towards Chloe because it is, again, like the beginning of his relationship.
Relationship, which again would eventually harden to the David we all know from the first one.
Yeah, and you can tell that David is trying so hard because there's this one point, like after Chloe helps him like fix the car and whatever, he kind of just his fist, and you can choose to either fist bump him or leave him hanging.
I think I fist bumped him because I didn't want to be rude.
It's funny though because if you don't choose anything, he's just like. For the longest
you just stay there.
But yeah, on Chloe's way to school, you learn that she started having like little visions about her dad, and like they're kind of like nightmares.
Yeah, it's the ongoing of just her seeing her father keep getting hit by that truck over and over. It's very,
So fast forward after this little vision she has of her dad, Chloe arrived at Blackwell Academy. This is before Chloe gets expelled, as we know in the first game. Mm-hmm. She's still trying to be a good student. We first bump into Chloe's friend Elliot, who is this guy, kind of reminds me of like Warren, but Warren 2.0. We'll get more into him a little later.
But we also meet with Steph and Mikey, who are, playing D&D, and you have the option to play D&D.
Mm-hmm.
Did not have time, so I just kept moving.
I played D&D with them. It was very fun.
How long did it take?
It was a very short thing. It took like maybe 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so on Chloe's way to class, she sees Nathan Prescott, as we know him from the first game too, getting bullied by Mikey's brother Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah. So feelings aside from the first game, you can either decide to stand up for Nathan or you could just watch him be bullied by Drew.
I think I stood up. I think I stood up for him, and that's when you get back into that shit-talking power.
Yeah.
And
yeah, while Chloe does not exactly have superpowers, she has the power of her wits. Hello
Silver
wits.
tongue.
Shaka bra. You try to enter the school, but you are intercepted by Rachel Amber, who looks super excited to see Chloe, and is like, hey, like, come on with me. And she brings her to drama rehearsal.
You know, to see Rachel once again in school, normal clothing. It's just more of like she still feels surreal about it. Like,
Yeah, did
like,
that really happen?
Exactly, or is this happening now? Like I'm now with Rachel.
Yeah, because why would somebody like Rachel Amber want to hang out with somebody like Chloe Price? The school is putting on a play called The Tempest. Rachel has a leading role in it because she is an actress. She's a grade A student, an actress, and just all around like basically like a perfect person. During this scene where Chloe's like asked the question about like how she perceives like how this one line is being portrayed in The Tempest, and it leads to Rachel kind of saying, well, maybe she just met the love of her life, which kind of intertwines with Chloe and Rachel's relationship.
So Rachel asked Chloe to skip class, which is like a bit of a shock to her. Like I said, you know, grade A student, never would have thought of that. And so they end up, you know, hitchhiking on a train.
And you can tell that there's an instant connection between Chloe and Rachel because Chloe becomes a soft little puppy around Rachel. You also learn a little bit more about Rachel. Her dad is the district attorney. So
they go off to a hiking trail up in a mountain where they find these binoculars and they start to look through it, you know, start making fun of the people. They look down there and then they spot these two people, one guy in a suit and this other lady in a white dress, and you see them sort of kissing and all. And Rachel seems you see a little mood change a bit. And so after walking along the train tracks from their hike, they find a junkyard, the iconic junkyard. Rachel starts sort of building up this little attitude. And Chloe's like, what's going on? And Chloe starts opening up, and I guess it's like Rachel starts getting irritated or something. But it's not because of Chloe. It's just a whole...
Yeah, and then you kind of see Chloe kind of put down her walls and be like, I don't want to mess like this up, like implying that there is something between them. And she's like, I'm always afraid of ruining things, and for the first time ever, like, I genuinely felt happy to be hanging out with you. That's obviously not what Rachel is upset about, and she continues to lash out and ultimately just leaves Chloe behind in the junkyard, which leaves Chloe to go on this little rampage with a baseball bat, crushing a bunch of things.
And in the midst of this anger, she sees this car that was actually belonged to her dad, and the car, obviously, from the damages of that accident. And it's such a, I guess, very traumatizing moment to look at, to see the car.
After Chloe falls asleep in the junkyard, trying to get her mind off of everything, she has another one of these dreams about her dad, which he says a quote to her, which is very important to the story, which is sometimes people need you even when they don't admit it, which is Rachel needing Chloe's help, because Rachel, no matter how perfect she seems, is in some sort of distress.
So Chloe wakes up and then finds Rachel by the tree where, you know, they found that couple earlier. And then Rachel tells Chloe that the reason why she was so upset is that the man that they saw there kissing that woman was her father, the DA, and that woman, she says, was not her mother.
And while Rachel is telling Chloe all this stuff, she also talks about running away together with Rachel, how they can just leave Arcadia Bay and never look back, which at the time, Chloe's like, yeah, like as not super serious about it, but likes Rachel, so of course she's gonna be like, yeah, let's run away together. So they decide to burn this photo that Rachel has of her and her father in this trash can, thinking you would like leave it alone there. But no, Rachel kind of builds up all this rage and kicks the garbage can over where they burnt the picture, therefore starting a forest fire. So this brings us to episode 2, Brave New World, and it starts off in the principal's office because obviously Chloe and Rachel are now in trouble for skipping class. Rachel decides, hey, I'm gonna take the blame. Principal Wells says, okay, you're not gonna get in too much trouble, but you are getting kicked off of the Tempest play, which obviously is very important to Rachel.
So whatever choice you make, whether to stay quiet or actually take the blame, either way, you end up getting kicked out of school, suspension, or expelled.
Chloe learns that David is now moving in because it's what's best for the family.
And now the relationship between her and her mom start getting way more friction, more intense now. So after that starking information that David is moving in, Chloe runs away back to the junkyard, her safe haven, and finds the iconic truck that you see in the Life is Strange 1, but broken down. And Chloe decides that she wants to fix this up and just get it to start running up.
But she gets a text from Frank saying, hey, like, we need to meet up, I need your help with something. So she falls asleep while she's waiting for Frank, and here comes Rachel Amber waking her up after another one of her nightmares about her dad.
So after Rachel wakes up Chloe, they start talking in the car, and it becomes a therapy session where they start discussing feelings and
running away together once again.
And they start discussing that the truck that they're in could be used as a getaway to get away from all Arcadia Bay.
Yeah, and you can kind of tell that Rachel is a little more serious about running away than Chloe is. Chloe's kind of along for the ride, like, yeah, you're really pretty, type of deal.
Before Chloe gets picked up by Frank, she sees the lady that was kissing Rachel's father at the park in the first episode, leaving Frank's RV. So Frank basically employs Chloe to be his loan shark, I guess?
Yeah, essentially.
or like a debt collector.
Debt collector, yeah.
So we enter the next mission where Chloe has to sneak into the campus, which she is kicked off, to get the money from Drew.
Yeah, so before you enter Drew's room, you also have the option, you don't have to do it, to enter Elliot's room. He's not there. But if you search through his stuff, you find these poems and about a girl, and Chloe's I wonder who this is about. And as you sort through the poems, they start getting creepier and creepier and a little more angry at whoever this girl is he's writing about. And then you can go to his computer, and there's Google searches of him going Chloe Price, Chloe Elizabeth Price, Chloe Elizabeth Price, Arcadia Bay. And it's really creepy.
Yikes! That's a big yikes moment. Can we edit a big yikes moment?
Can you say yikes?
Big yikes. Wow. Those are some really red flags.
Wah, wah, wah,
Makes Warren look like an angel.
Still don't like him.
After sneaking into Drew's room and taking the money, Mike and Drew barge into the room hiding from Damon Merrick.
Who's out to get his money the same way Chloe is, but a little more aggressive Drew decides hey, you guys stay inside, I'll handle this, and you hear him start getting beaten up, and you have another choice.
Either you let it happen or you give the money. So I don't know, what choice did you do?
I chose to stay quiet because I had a feeling that if I were to interrupt, something would probably happen to Mikey, which it does.
Yeah, I think I also chose to be quiet because Damon is just as dangerous.
After this whole altercation, you decide, hey, I'm already on campus, let's watch Rachel in this play. And then Chloe gets put in this really awkward position where this other actress is running late.
Because of that forest fire that they caused earlier.
So yeah, Rachel volunteers Chloe, and at first Chloe's no, I don't think so, I don't know any of the lines. And then you immediately cut to a shot of Chloe in this raven costume, kind of damn it.
Damn it. I love those shots. So now Chloe's thrown into this the Tempter's play and now trying to learn her lines as quick as possible before the play starts in such a stressful manner.
As the play goes on, the lines between Chloe and Rachel start to become very intimate and highly relatable to their current situation. Chloe, at one point, Rachel gets down on one knee and takes Chloe's hand and starts saying lines that relate to if you stay with me a little longer and follow through with my plan, once we're out of Arcadia Bay, I'll make you happier than you've ever been, type of dialogue.
And and eventually this play starts, instead of turning it starts becoming from the temptress to just them talking to each other at this point. But in a very beautiful way. I think it's one of like the best scenes throughout this Before the Storm.
Yeah, and like unlike other scenes, it's very cinematic and like really up close and personal. And it's just a really intimate scene, and it's beautifully done.
So after that play, they're sort of in a very optimistic mood, going to Rachel's house, and they start talking again about running away, and to the point where you start wanting to be sure, like, how serious are they about this? And there's like, what will it take for you to convince me? Which leaves you about 3 choices. Main 2 options is either a bracelet or a kiss.
What did you choose?
I chose the kiss, which I'm pretty sure majority of every other player did.
Yes, just like that first kiss in the first game, I was like, "Want it!" when it came to the kiss option, of course. So if you choose kiss, Rachel and Chloe share this romantic little kiss underneath the streetlight.
It's
very cute.
Turning point of the relationship.
And basically solidifies their plan. Okay, we are running away together. Her parents decide, hey, who's your friend? Stay for dinner.
And the most awkward family dinner occurred.
During this conversation, her dad starts talking about family and how important family is, which
strikes a nerve with Rachel. And then Rachel just picks up the salad bowl and just breaks the glass table. And then sudden silence, and then she's just like, why won't you just tell me the truth?
And we end off the second episode with Rachel's dad revealing that the woman that they saw him with is Rachel's biological mother. So after that big reveal, this brings us to the third and final episode of this prequel, which is titled Hell is Empty.
So Rachel's dad tells her that her mother, whose name is Sarah, was actually in Arcadia Bay to try to see her. But I think it was like a whole...
Yeah, like she's addicted to drugs and stuff. She's not doing good on her own.
Yeah, the whole reason why she never knew about her biological mother is because she was a danger to herself and to Rachel at a young age. So all the drug abuse and all.
Rachel and Chloe decide, okay, let's track down Sarah. That way we could just meet her one time before we ultimately run away together. They go back to the junkyard to start fixing up the truck. And that's when you get paid a visit from Frank and Damon Merrick.
In the midst of this confrontation, Damon starts threatening Chloe, in which Rachel starts pushing him down with the 2x4, and then furthering the escalation, stabs Rachel right under the armpit, which is a very dangerous place to be.
So that's when Frank springs into action and handles Damon, which allows Chloe and Rachel to escape together in the truck to the hospital. Rachel tells Chloe in the hospital, I still want to meet my mom, like, before we leave. Like, the only way we're ever going to, like, find her now is through my dad. Can you, like, go to my house and try to find contact information for her? Which, of course, Chloe's like, do anything for you. But on your way out, you get confronted again by Elliot, who is extremely worried about Chloe's, like, well-being, saying, like, what's going on? Like, what are you guys getting yourselves into? Like, you need to stop. Like, Rachel Amber is dangerous.
Well, if you did the option, you'll know that Elliot seems way more dangerous, especially. Creepy vibes off of him.
And in Rachel's dad's desk, you find a burner phone, which is in direct contact with Damon Merrick.
Exact. Now the plot even thickens more. Why does Rachel's dad have Damon's number on it? The dangerous DA with a dangerous... Oh. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So,
sorry, I connected it in my head just now. Right, he's a DA. He already knows that he's a convict.
So basically, you start talking to Damon, being like, hey, like, where is she? And he's like, I'm not giving you any more information until you clear my name. And you start sending him pictures of you burning evidence, but he thinks he's still talking to Rachel Amber's dad, the DA.
While pretending to be the DA texting Damon, Elliot, who can't seem to stop being creepy, follows Chloe to the house and confronts her once more, what's going on. They see the money on the desk that was for Damon, right? Mm-hmm. The money on the desk for Damon, and he just starts grabbing. He starts basically taking hostage of Chloe. And what happens is Chloe sneakily types 911 to alert the authorities, but also you use your shit-talking power as more of a convincing type power.
Yeah, because Elliot starts going, like, crazy. He's like,
psycho. I'm not upset.
And he's, man is obsessed with Chloe because like those Google searches you can potentially see are all the red flags are there. But yeah, after you get away from Elliot, you make your way to the old mill because Damon sends a picture of Sarah, which you immediately recognize as being the old mill. As soon as you get there, you overhear a conversation between Sarah and Damon basically saying that Rachel Amber's dad hired him to get rid of Sarah because nobody can know that the DA's daughter's mother is a junkie.
So instead of using it as it's very tragic. It's not even like protecting his daughter. It's just protecting his own self-image.
Yes.
So Chloe goes, confronts Damon, offers the money in exchange for Sarah to be free.
Which obviously he doesn't take.
Because Damon is a loose cannon, starts attacking Chloe.
He winds up kicking her in the head too, knocking her out.
Yeah.
That's when Frank comes to save the day. And during this, one of the final conversations with Sarah, she basically begs you, don't tell Rachel about the truth about her father. She can never know. Her life will be destroyed if she finds out, like, her dad hired somebody to kill her biological mother. And you could either choose to tell Rachel later or not.
Yeah, and you're left with that final choice where whether you want to tell Rachel the truth or not. If you do tell the truth, it sort of ends in a very, like, she gets very, like, pissed off. You don't hear it, but you see her emotions against her father and, I guess, mother?
Yeah,
sure.
What did you choose?
See, I chose because, like, I understand why Rachel's mom told her that because she wants to protect her from being, you know, mentally fucked up. So I made the hard choice of just not telling her that truth, and that was the...
Yeah, I did choose to tell Rachel because I feel like they already decided they were going to run away together, and she already kind of hated her father in the first place for everything that's happened. So I'm like, just tell her the truth.
It's whatever you choose to do. Either way, you know, Rachel and Chloe, you see them, a little montage of them having fun.
A little happy montage. It's so cute.
Chloe dyeing her hair fully blue to the look that we all know and love.
You see Chloe get all of her tattoos that we've seen on her. You just see them like running away together, being so happy.
And because the developers really like to fuck with us, they decided to end the last shot with Rachel's phone on a glass table with 17 missed calls from Chloe, and you see nothing. You hear nothing but camera shutters in the back, which you all assume is that asshole Jefferson.
Oh yeah. But yeah, after it hurt me.
It just hurts
because I knew ultimately Rachel was going to die because I played the first game.
Yeah, I know, but it's like,
dead.
but we don't want to be reminded, all right? We could have just ended on a light note.
Because like you're so happy to see them together, finally, like both of them happy away from everything, and then you're just like, ugh.
You want comfort? Read the comics. We might review those too. Who knows? Let us know.
All right, so let's get to the ratings. Here at Queer Free Reviews, we rate everything we review out of 5 different categories for a grand total of 100.
Let's start with representation. How well did Life is Strange Before the Storm represent its queer themes?
So for representation, I give it an 8.5.
I give it a 9. No, you explain. You gave it less than me. Why did you give it an 8.5?
It's not like in a bad way, but it's like we finally get to see that relationship between Rachel and Chloe that was talked about so much, and I feel like just the relationship between two queer women, it was like escalated. Like it was definitely moving fast because like I think this took place in a span of 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were already talking about running away together during the first day, and I feel like it's very sapphic.
Damn, I got algebra homework.
Screw your algebra homework, let's run away together.
In a truck that we did not know how to drive until now, I guess.
But yeah, I really enjoy that void we had in the first game where you just knew that Rachel and Chloe had something, and then this filled that void, explaining that entire relationship and how it was built, and then them running away together. And like I really enjoyed all of Chloe's shy panics around Rachel, and when it was finally reciprocated, you just saw how happy Chloe was.
Yeah, no, I agree with all that. Like I said, moved a little too fast for, you know, it doesn't doesn't take like 3 days just to get into a full relationship like that or run away. But otherwise, great way to represent, the small little panics in our life. You could say like the puppy love or something.
Yeah, honeymoon phase too.
Yep.
Next, let's move on to our queer comfort scale.
And when it comes to queer comfort,
I give it a 9.7.
8.5.
Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
I guess I'll go first. 8.5. Why?
Why?
Queer comfort scale. It's just a little. It's nothing like crazy, any too negative. It's just a little like just the certain people interact. Like Elliot is like getting weird, because everybody knows an Elliot.
I feel like
Everybody has experienced.
a lot of women definitely have had an Elliot in their
Exactly.
lives.
Everybody's experienced an Elliot. It's very common, you think. Just go on Reddit. And but yeah, that causes the uncomfortableness but everybody knows an Elliot. What do you think?
The reason why I gave it a 9.7, I don't know, it tickled the brain. It hit that spot in my heart, which I was really looking forward to in this game. Just like I said with my representation answer, just the whole relationship of Rachel and Chloe and them falling in love with each other, it really did fill that blank space that we had in the first game as to like why was Rachel Amber this person that everybody like really looked up to and really cared about, and this did a really good job of talking about her. And I don't know, it pushed all the right buttons for me, and I really loved their story. The reason why it's not a 10, because ultimately in the end I knew what was going to happen to Rachel, and the way they just had to include, she's dead by the way, at the end, it really made me very sad.
All right, so next up is originality.
So for originality, we give it an 8.9.
9.
Very nice.
Oh, okay, we're close.
Yeah, in terms of originality, I think comparing it to like the original, like all the other Life is Strange games, it's definitely stands on its own, especially with like the no powers and stuff like that.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, having the power to shit talk is a very interesting one, and I like it.
Yeah, me too. I feel like it really did a good job of it being its own game, especially within 3 episodes. It was able to tell this whole story, basically like the lore of this mysterious Rachel Amber, and I really enjoyed it.
And the best part about this too is that it just builds up the meaning behind Life is Strange 1. Mm-hmm. It gives you a whole new perspective to it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the writing.
And for writing, we give it a...
I gave it a 9.4.
7.5.
Oh my.
Shaka bro.
Tell me about it, Shaka bro. Why'd you give it that hella score right there?
I don't gotta say too much. Shaka bra, hella. I don't know. Just a catchphrase just to make it awkward.
Yeah.
That's just why it's a 7.5. Because if we know one thing with Life is Strange in dialogue, it's strange.
It's very strange. I mean, they didn't use those terms as much as they did in the first game.
But
feel
they
like
started.
Yeah, they were like, this is the origin of the Shaka bra and the hella that Chloe always uses. I give it a 9.4 personally. So Life is Strange is kind of split into 2 different production companies. One is Don't Nod, which did the first and second game, and Deck 9, which did the prequel and number 3. I really like Deck 9's like style of writing. I feel like it hits more home with me, and then Don't Nod does like a lot of the more like dramatic, intense stuff. And I feel like Deck 9's writing style is more relatable to me, and definitely is able to get me more like invested in not just the story, but also like the characters themselves.
And last but not least, our overall feelings towards the game.
And now for our overall feelings towards the game. I gave it a 9.5.
8.5.
Ooh. But yeah, like I said, something about Deck 9's style of their version of Life is Strange gets me a lot more invested. This game, as soon as I finished it, I could not stop thinking about it. Like just the whole thing with Rachel Amber, that whole ending sequence. You did not need to do that to me. I felt sick. I genuinely was like, no, why did they have to do this to Rachel?
8.5 out of spite.
Out of spite.
Yeah, but yeah, and like I said, from going from Life is Strange 1, where you have these powers, and then Before the Storm, it feels more grounded, and you definitely feel more like, well, shit, if this happens, and there's no way to like reverse it back or fix anything.
All right, so let's get to our total. AJ, hit us with that gay shit.
Alright, so Life is Strange Before the Storm comes in at 88.5 out of 100, giving it a gay minus.
A gay minus. All right. Yeah, I mean, as expected, I feel like there's a lot of things we could say about the Life is Strange series that like brings it up and down, but nonetheless, I feel like it is a really great series that definitely deserves this rating.
Great series, traumatizing, but but that means they know exactly what they're doing and what they're writing, and
Exactly.
Who knows, we might see another sequel or more.
Again, thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Queer Peer Reviews. In our description below, we will have links to the Trevor Project along with other LGBTQ links you can click on, as well as links to our social media pages. So yeah, stay tuned for the next one.
Yeah, and let us know if you want us to review the comics that they sort of further the storyline after the first one.
Yay.